counties, different countries even. But some people even hire hitmen to say, I'm living here and I don't want you living where I live. And that's exactly what this cop, a New York cop, did or attempted to do to her husband. It got so bad that the husband had to participate in his own death to beat the wife who thought that she outsmarted him. It's just not, it's sad, sad circumstances what happened to this man. But nevertheless, let's play.
Accused of masterminding a murder for hire plot, and authorities say the victim was to be her own husband. Now, in an Inside Edition exclusive, he's speaking with Stephen Fabian about what it was like to stage his own death to bring his wife to justice.
You're watching a sting operation as it happens.
Are you Valerie Cincinelli?
What's going on?
A wife is about to get some devastating news about her husband.
Might have a seat for me, please? I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that Isaiah was found dead.
Are you kidding me?
She appears stunned, then breaks down. But was it all an act?
Oh my God.
Valerie Cincinelli wasn't surprised to hear her husband was dead because prosecutors say she orchestrated a chilling murder for hire plot to kill him.
I don't know what to do.
But what she didn't know was that her husband was very much alive, and here he is.
Never seen that video.
You've never seen this video?
No.
Isaiah Cavalho is speaking exclusively to Inside Edition. What do you see when you watch this video?
To me, it looks like a cold-blooded, cold-hearted person.
So, who is Valerie Cincinelli? Her occupation may surprise you. She was a New York City cop. She and her husband had been married for 5 years. They had one son together.
I thought I was marrying somebody who protected and served for a living. Somebody who was, you know, a cop, an outstanding citizen. And instead, I got a crazed lunatic.
In 2019, they were going through a messy divorce, and authorities say Valerie Cincinelli schemed to do away with her husband. They say she put this man, her then-boyfriend, John Daruba, in charge of hiring the hitman for $7,000, converted into gold to make it untraceable. Did she really think she was going to get away with this?
I really believe she did, because she went through with it.
But the boyfriend went straight to the FBI. Why? Because he says Cincinelli wanted to add another victim to her hit list, his 13-year-old daughter. Cincinelli was said to be jealous of the pricey gifts her boyfriend was buying his daughter, including Louis Vuitton bags, Ugg boots, and fake nails every week. Cops say she hated the teen with a passion and wanted her bumped off too. Working with the FBI, the two men in Valerie Cincinelli's life joined forces to bring her down. Together, they staged a realistic crime scene.
The FBI told me to sit in the car, and they took glass, and they put it all over on the floor here, rolled down my window, put glass all over me inside of the car, and told me to hunch over into the passenger seat.
Was that eerie, to stage your own death?
It haunts me every day.
The fake photo was shown to his wife as proof of death.
Well, you don't have to worry about your court papers now.
Cincinelli believed her husband had been killed. Her boyfriend secretly recorded what happened next as she tried to cover her tracks.
Delete my text. You're not keeping anything on the phone.
The FBI moved in.
Yeah, put your hands up. Up.
Is there a part of you that's worried when she gets out of prison, she's going to try to find somebody to actually do the job?
I look over my shoulder constantly. There's not a day that I don't go by that I'm not afraid for my life.
In a plea deal, the murder for hire charge was dropped. Cincinelli pled guilty to obstruction of justice. She was sentenced to 48 months in prison. Her ex-boyfriend was not charged.
Okay, so let's think about this. They only gave her, let's do the math, 12 times 4 is 48. She's going to be out, if I'm not mistaken, she should be out, or is she out already, right? Because this happened in 2019, so she should be out of really, really soon. She's going to be out. So 48 Look, she should be out really soon. Really soon. A former New York City city officer pled guilty in a murder for hire plot, was sentenced to 48 months behind bars. She already served 30. Now look, she's out because this was 3 years ago. Valerie Cincinelli pleaded guilty to obstruction of justice. Apparently, with good behavior, she's eligible for home confinement in 6 months. So she's already out. Cincinnati paid her one-time boyfriend, John DeRuba, $7,000 to hire a hitman to kill estranged husband, Isaiah Carvalho, amid a bitter divorce and custody battle over their son. DeRuba went to the authorities when Cincinnati wanted to include DeRuba's 15-year-old daughter in the plot. She's so selfish. She's so selfish that she didn't want to include her own son, but she wanted to live happy ever after with another man's and delete his daughter. This is a bona fide crack pot, or whatever you want to call it. I deleted images on an iPhone with the intent to obstruct a federal judge jury investigation in the murder for hire. Cincinnati said during the plea hearing, "I knew what I did was wrong, and I'm truly sorry, Your Honor." Had the case gone to trial, federal prosecutors said it would have introduced evidence that include audio and video recordings in which Cincinnati was overheard discussing the plot with an alibi. During the virtual hearing, Cincinnati, who has been in custody since her 2019 arrest, broke down wailing. "For 2 years, I haven't seen my son. Boo-hoo. Nobody cares. You tried to kill somebody else's son. You got to understand your spouse is somebody else's daughter. And your spouse could be somebody's daughter, or your spouse could be somebody else's son. That means that's somebody else's child. So what about your child makes it more important than somebody else's child? Don't work that way." Carvalho, also at court on Friday, he told the judge that Cincinnati was cruel and selfish. Plot twist. Nobody saw that coming. She's very, very, very not a nice person. You tried to kill a man because he don't want you no more, and you moved on, Cincinnati. And you try to kill your boyfriend's daughter. That daughter probably hates you, knowing that you wanted to have her deleted. But Cincinnati's defense attorney painted a much different picture, suggesting she was trapped by the two men in her life. And then she suffered an unrelenting barrage over the course of a year in which DeRuba and her husband conspired together to ruin her life, Attorney James said. Cincinnati himself went before the judge in tears and explained that she became unhinged, saying, I'm apologizing from the bottom of my heart. I can't believe that I'm allowing myself to get to that place, that dark place. Man, you a cruel person. Nobody's buying it. But her estranged husband's divorce attorney had this to say. That woman cried when they told her that her husband dead. She cried with no tears. That's psychotic. That's dangerous. That's cold-hearted. That's cold-blooded. I think her tears were because she got caught. I don't think she's remorseful in any way, the attorney Dennis Lamick said. Her plea agreement called for the sentence of about 5 years in prison. Federal prosecutors agreed not to ask for more than 60 months behind bars, but on Friday, she was sentenced to 48. So this article is from close to 3 years ago. And what you clearly see is a woman who was able to beat the odds because she was a cop. That played into some of this. She only got 48 months. She's already on the streets. this cold-blooded individual is going to be dating again. This a terrible, terrible set of circumstances. But nevertheless, this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, subscribe as we become a